Hello everyone, welcome back to Enellsie Reads. We are already in month 3 of 2024. Like, yeah, 2024. That's crazy. And I don't know about you, but I'm really starting the year off to a great start. I read 6 books thus far. And for me, that is big. That's big. Because I am a procrastination queen. I be getting distracted. I'll like be ready to read. And sometimes I really do like knock them out. But last year I did pretty bad because I was like getting distracted. I did get a lot of books done, but sometimes, you know, when we put our phone down, we can knock things out. And I'm learning to take social media breaks and fast because this phone will keep me behind in life, and that is not okay. This is my book stack for January and February of 2024. The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. So this book was actually a buddy read with one of my close friends on bookstagram, Hunter. She's so amazing. Shout out to Hunter. I love her so much. And if y'all want to tap in and do buddy reads with myself or with some people on Instagram, let's just connect and drop your bookstagram account below. So this book is by Deisha Phil, y'all. It's a quick book. It's about 177 pages. There's about 9 short stories, I believe. It's just spicy. So it starts out real spicy. And it's like, oh, what y'all talking about? And if you have been in church or you have grown up in that realm, you've seen like some of this stuff happens in real life. Like we all have our proclivities and we all have our different struggles while being saved and while chasing after God. And even if you're not in a firm walk, or even if Christianity may not be your thing, whatever you believe in, that's fine. You know, well, we all have, as humans, we all have things that we struggle with. So it's cool to see that in a book on the side of religion and Christianity, and how people, you know, we have these things that we struggle with. There's adultery, there's messing with a pastor, it's a lot. Messing with a married man, you know. And if you know, you know. This stuff really happens. So it's real juicy. They all are different. But I truly enjoyed it. I really did. I really did. I really loved when Eddie Levert comes. That was a good one. Snowfall, Peach Cobbler was good. But it's good. So I would definitely say check this out if you can. Angela Davis. I love her so much. But this is Freedom is a Constant Struggle. It's about Ferguson, Palestine, and, you know, the foundations of a movement. And the introduction and forward is by Cornel West. So this book is another quick, short read. You can see it's not big at all. It's very short. I am really big on annotations, so I like journaled and wrote throughout my whole book and marked it up, which is fine. I feel like that's how you retain information, and that's how you stay connected with whatever the author is putting out in their writing. But this is another quick read. It talks about, you know, just different movements and how there should be movements that are curated throughout the world, internationally, to gain awareness and to fight these struggles that are literally constant. So, and this book was written, I'm not sure when it was written, so I'm not going to put out a year. However, it is very prevalent and it coincides with what is going on today in America. Not only in America, what's going on overseas in Palestine. It's just really cool how it shows the injustice, it shows the police system, it shows the prison system, as well as those who live in Palestine. They also struggle with the things that we as Black Americans struggle with as well. So it's good to know that, you know, people are fighting constantly and are at work constantly to fight against the struggles of each Black and brown individual, and how white supremacy is really a thing. And this stuff has been going on forever. And it's like, you know, there needs to be a change. And will that change ever truly come? No matter how much activism there is, no matter how much intentionality there is with all these movements and stuff. Will there ever be an actual change? It's sad because, you know, you hate that when you're seeing on the news and X, Y, and Z, what's going on in the world, and it's just like, why is this still a constant struggle? So this book was really good. Talks about capitalism, talks about Ferguson, it talks about Palestine, like I said, systematic things, systematic racism, the G4S system. It goes in about everything. Asada Shakur, Michael Brown. It talks about them a little bit. And it's just about different little essays, so to speak, that, you know, bring awareness to what is going on throughout the world today. So, and it also speaks on like certain things in South Africa as well with the Black Freedom Movement. This book is really, really, really good. It was a quick read. I really would recommend you all to tap in and give this one a try. It's really amazing, especially if you love history, activism, and things like that. It's amazing. So then we're going to go ahead to my favorite author. Okay, my favorite author. She does no wrong. She does no harm. She is the epitome of literature. She's the epitome of Black literature. She's the epitome of writing. She's the epitome of being an author. She is just the epitome of greatness. And we're going to give a round of applause for Toni Morrison. Yes, I love her so much. I really, really, really do. So this book is not actually one of her most read books. A lot of people do not discuss this book because I feel like when I was researching, a lot of people would refer to Beloved, which is another great read of her. All her books are phenomenal. But Love, this book was really good. Okay? This book was really, really, really good. And it just talks about, you know, passion, hatred, power, perversity, and class and things like that. It's about a bunch of different women who, slow to speak, are super indulged in the realms of Bill Cosby. And even after he passes away and after he's done, you know, lived his life, and, you know, honey, he lived his life. But after he passed away, they were even more at odds with each other with trying to claw after his reigns and, you know, his, you know, wealth and what was being left for them. And they all had different things, you know, and just was trying to gain favor and basically just trying to see like who's going to inherit what, so to speak. I don't want to give too much away because I get chatty. But this book was really good. They had a really strong hatred towards each other. But it just goes to show you how, you know, and it's a historical fiction, but it goes to show how, like, you know, just the world was back then and how, you know, there was, you know, a young marriage, a young lady who was like probably 13 or 14, if I'm not mistaken, around that age, where she married this man who was 40 times her age. And then got snatched from her best friend. And then there was that dynamic where they were at odds with each other and literally hated each other. And then, you know, one of them wanted to write a book and a tell-all, basically. And it was spicy. It was messy. It was drama. But it was an amazing, impactful read about, you know, us as a people, Black Americans, Black people, and how things were back in that day and back in that time. But this was amazing. Anything she writes is just amazing. But it's, you know, focuses on a wife, a daughter, a granddaughter, employee, and mistress, you know, and who are, like I said, who's going to gain what throughout the inheritance of Bill Cosby. So this was amazing. I annotated, as you can see. But that was really good. So I definitely give that book, of course, 10 out of 10 because it's Toni Morrison. Okay, so now we're going to journey to If Beale Street Can Talk by James Baldwin. I have always loved Baldwin, literally. But I always watched his interviews and, like, I've always watched his debates and stuff on YouTube. I never got a chance to actually read his books. And I've had this book for a very long time. And I also have Another Country as well that is written by him. But this book was really powerful. I saw the movie. I feel like the writing was way more impactful and, you know, just amazing rather than the movie. So this book is about poverty, injustice, you know, how white policemen can, you know, oftentimes have it out for young black and brown individuals and black and brown men, and how being a black man in America can be excruciatingly exhausting, and it's just truly unfortunate. The storyline was beautiful. I really enjoyed this writing. I love Baldwin's pen game. It's just phenomenal. But Tish's family, shout out to them. Like, I really love the dynamic and how they, you know, made a home for Fonny, and they really supported him about his perilous times, and, you know, they really held him up. And we're not gonna go through the detail. I'm trying not to give spoilers away. But that was really good. The storyline between Tish and Fonny in itself is powerful. You know, and so it's just amazing. So I would definitely give this one a 9 out of 10. Check it out. All right. Before I even continue, I'm going to just say I DNF'd this book, and I was not about to ever read it. Like, I don't know what it was. I read like a few pages, and I couldn't get into it. Excuse me. I couldn't get into it at first. But Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This book, it's a thickie, but it's not as bad as it seems. It's about 380 pages, slow to speak. But this book was really good, y'all. Like, seriously, this book was magnificent. It really wasn't. I'm not into romance at all. Like, I really don't like romance. Tia Williams is an amazing writer. And I read 7 Days in June, and that was captivating. But reading another black woman's romance novel was even more captivating, and it really captured me. And it was like I was watching and binge watching the show. So I really hope this becomes a show, because it's like I envisioned when I was reading it, I was envisioning the whole entire thing as like it was a series. But this was really good. You have a married couple who, you know, goes through a divorce, and, you know, that is, you know, what we know it to be, just, you know, sad and, you know, overwhelming and whatnot and devastating. But they hit a low blow. You know, you have grief, you have divorce, you have, you know, the uncomfortability of, you know, seeking love after a divorce and whatnot. The family dynamic that's in the book, it touches on all of that, trying to co-parent, etc. with their 2 children. But this book was really good. I would give it a 10 out of 10. I really would. This book was amazing. When I loved how they found each other, you know, and they drew back and got back and good, you know, like got back good with each other. And that was beautiful to see. Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver. Mr. Cleaver is so opinionated, and it's very raw. It's very raw. It's very raw. But it's a necessary read. I truly believe that it's a necessary read. It's a memoir that, you know, brings outrage because of the fact that this man is like, you have the audacity to speak on certain things, and you live the life that you live. But there is room for redemption for everybody, and there's room for growth for everybody. And he has a crazy past, and old boy was wilding in these streets. He really was. But if you look at it, like I was telling someone, and we're not negating and we're not pulling back from what he did at all, because homeboy was a rapist. I'm gonna just put it out there. He was a rapist. But it just goes to show that the white man and white supremacy will force our brothers to believe that that's all there is, and that, you know, they have to, you know, succumb to only being in love with a white woman and seeing a white woman as, and there's no shade to my beautiful white women, I love you guys, so it's no shade in this video at all, but being a black woman and being a black male, some of us really can resonate with that, because it's like, that's all that was portrayed back in those days, with blue eyes, you know, being a size 2, you know, just envisioning and being forced to see that that was the only thing that was acceptable. So, you know, it's not a surprise that he had a love for white women, but he also was outraged with his love for white women, because it's like, you know, that's all I know. And he got to a point where it was frustrating to have that love for them the way that he did, and, you know, how he was, slow to speak, obsessed with white women. And he just goes on a whole revengeful path, and it's just crazy from there. And then he just speaks on different, you know, civil rights things. He speaks on, you know, Black liberation, I believe it was, movement. But some of the movements, so to speak, being in the Nation of Islam for a little bit. You know, Malcolm X is spoken about. But it speaks on a lot with that. It speaks on a lot. And this book was really amazing. And it was good to see, you know, how this book really came full circle. I'm slow to speak because this book was heavy. And this is the last book I read, so I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. This one was a rough read. It was rough, and I had the audiobook the last couple of chapters, which is about 5 chapters. But he speaks on Baldwin. I don't really like that, what he was saying about Baldwin. But it's like, is it all false? Or is it true? Like, are things far-fetched? Do we, you know, are they? But it talks about, you know, the black man's stake in Vietnam. It spoke a lot about Vietnam. But this book was amazing. And it was amazing because of just the rawness of it. It was very raw. And I feel like a lot of people are not used to writing like that. Like, you know, they're not. They're not. And he spoke his truth, as well as owning up to where he was in life and why he made certain decisions. You know, him being imprisonated, you know, and him being incarcerated, you know, like he had time to think and to write, or whatever. And just shows how, you know, there's a lack of education for black men. Again, you know, a lot of the books correlate with that theme, you know, like, you're at a disadvantage from birth. No one wakes up and says, I want to be this or I want to be that, you know. No one wakes up and truly thinks that, or, you know, wants that out of life. But when you are handed and dealt with a disadvantage from birth, it's hard, you know, to reestablish life after that. But I'm glad that he did. And he is no longer with us. I believe he passed away from cancer, if I'm not mistaken. He did. He had prostate cancer. But I will say that it was hard as a black woman, as a woman in general. Like, it was hard reading that. Reading his memoir, it was hard. And I feel like that's why it took me a very long time to finish his work, his memoir, because of how hard it was to digest what he was putting out via his writing. But I will still give this book a 9 out of 10. I feel like it's a necessary memoir. I feel like there's accountability, there's redemption. I feel like, you know, there's still a lot of great themes and topics that are in this book that need to be discussed. So it's raw. Truly raw. but I think it's worth the read. I plan on knocking out 50 books this year, but even if I don't, I will still be okay. But I think I can do good with it. I'm already 6 books in. I'm already on book 7. I will be done with book 7 today, actually. I have about 4 hours to go on the audiobook. And even when I audiobook things, like, I'm still reading along with it. So it's like, yeah, I'm listening to it, but I'm still reading and annotating. So it's like I'm doing both. But I love to just hear someone, like, narrate the book and the storyline, so to speak. But thank you guys for watching. But yeah, I wanted to just give you guys a quick wrap up, period. But let me know if you guys have read any of the books that were mentioned in this video. Please comment below. Please interact with my channel. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. And if you have not watched my previous video, please make sure that you tune in to my latest video, which is the BookTube newbie tag. So that is all for today. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Bye.